Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm MK.
And I'm Courtney.
And Courtney, how are you?
Well, it's football week. For those of you who don't know, um, I don't know what week this is. This may be actual football week for you by the time you hear this.
That's a good
Um,
question.
because we're still in preseason. I think this comes out either the first week of NFL or second week.
Something like that. You keep
Um,
talking while I
yeah,
verify.
yeah. So I had two drafts coming up. I had my first one this weekend, and my second one's next weekend.
This
Um,
this does come out on the second, not the first, not opening Thursday, the next Thursday. So we've had a full week
okay.
of football.
Yeah, yeah. So welcome to your second week of football. Hopefully we've done well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went and got my nails done before, and my brain said, it's football. You have to do like I always try to relate my nails to something I'm doing. So when I go on Virgin Cruises, my nails are red. When I'm trying to like recover from existence, my nails are red. And like et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, okay, well, I know I want Josh Allen. I want my nails to be blue. I was like, but I don't know what my draft pick is. And I'm scared that if I'm not first, I'm not going to get it. Like, because the first people to go are going to be Barkley, Lamar Jackson, Allen, and
Yeah.
Chase.
Yeah.
Which is not true. Lamar Jackson didn't go to like the fourth round, and honestly, I didn't realize it until someone told me, or I would have drafted him as my second QB. Before anyone else got anything else.
Okay, I don't trust the people that you draft with to
Me either, especially
like
because like our point
like
system is QB heavy.
if
Like
you have
QBs win the
if
league.
you have a Q because we have a pretty QB heavy point system too. If you have a
Mhm.
QB heavy point system in the league right now, how did if I understand if you have ideas and Lamar's not your top pick. Fine. I think
Sure,
I think I
fine.
think you're wrong. I mean, other than Josh. I think
Right. Like he was
you're
my second pick.
right. Like
I
if you
assumed I had to pick one.
right. I'm assuming if you don't get Josh, I don't know who else you go for.
I mean, everybody wants to go for Patrick Mahomes, but he really
Patrick,
isn't
but
that great for fantasy either.
Patrick
He's not.
Mahomes, if you look at his actual stats from last season, the Chiefs didn't win because Patrick Mahomes won.
Yeah, they
The
weren't
Chief, the
great.
Chiefs won because their defense kept other people
Hmm.
out. They did not
Yeah.
have their offense was like because I had Travis Kelce on my team and I regretted
Hmm.
every single day of my life that I had Travis Kelce on my team. He was terrible.
Yeah.
I my
Yeah.
t my tight ends were Travis Kelce and Cole Kmet. It was a fucking disaster last year. But even if you have hopes about other people or you're trying to feel things out or you have misguided looks at people like Mahomes or what's the cute kid from Cleveland that everybody is obsessed with, the little blonde kid.
Burrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the little cute kid that everybody's obsessed with. I don't know his name.
He went to LSU.
But
So
so even if you have like misguided hopes about like those guys and Lamar's like your fifth pick, that's still a first or second round. It's not a fourth
I I
round
I
pick.
was we were
Lamar's my
drinking.
keeper. Lamar's my QB next year because
Yeah,
yeah.
like we were drinking, and so I didn't realize that he didn't go until the fifth round because I also ended up being the first pick, and so every pick I had was back to back, and so I was like QB, running back, wide receiver, wide receiver. Like I
Yeah.
was like doing like that, and I had no idea. So I don't know who ended up getting him. It wasn't me. But I did get Josh Allen. But my whole thing, I was like, I don't want to get blue nails and then be pissed off when I don't get Josh. I was like, because I know I'm going to be drinking and I know it will piss me off. And so
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to go purple because Lamar Jackson will be my backup.
Yeah.
But also, it's like a regular color that people like. It
Yeah.
doesn't stand out for me to
My
put
my nails
purple
are purple.
sparkly
I mean,
nails.
my nails are
See,
I chopped them off and they grew out halfway, but they're purple.
yeah, yeah. So like mine are purple sparkly, and I was like, this is a regular color
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
I did wear blue to the draft because
As
I
you
was
should.
like, still feeling very strongly about my situation.
Yeah.
And then we're like in the truck on the way, and Shane's like, "You're the first draft pick. What are you gonna do?" First of all, I was like I'm gonna tell you. Second of all, now I have to like make a real decision. I
Is
like
that
texted
is
him and
that
I
when
was
you
like,
is that when you panic texted me and you were like, I'm picking first?
I think so, I think so. Because I pregame a little bit before we went. it, so who's to say? Um,
Oh
and
yeah, no, I think the Snapchat that said pre-game drink number three
number
was
three, yeah,
before the panic I
yeah,
picked
yeah,
first text.
yeah. So I texted Nick and I was like, I'm first draft. I was like, I didn't think I was gonna have to pick. I thought I was just gonna get the one of the four people. I was like, do I go Barkley or Allen? I was like, I know we're heavy on QB. I was like,
Right.
but I've had Barkley every year and I know if I don't pick him first, I'm not getting in. And so I went with Allen. I think that's probably the better pick. I just love Barkley, especially because we're
No,
like
and
it's
here's
an
the thing.
insane heavy QB like
Well,
scoring
that's what I was saying.
system.
I was like, I understand, and Barkley might put up more points
Mhm.
for other, like, compared to other people you could have gotten
Yeah,
as backups in his position. But if your league is QB heavy, it's not worth sacrificing a QB
right.
because what if you, well, I mean, you could have apparently
Apparently, I
gotten,
could have gotten Lamar Jackson. That would have been fine, but I didn't know that at the time.
yeah.
Yeah, like I'll like if I'm early up in the draft for this next one, I'll go Barkley first because I know it's heavier. But
It's good thing we don't play against each other then, in where this is not the same league because the Bills and the Ravens play each other for in the first week, and I have one more.
what a wild ride
I'm
that
gonna
would
be so
be.
I'm gonna be so stressed out because obviously
I
I
know.
don't want Baltimore to win, but
The
I need Lamar to put up enough points that I win my fantasy.
correct. That is always me when the Saints play football.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want the Saints to win, but I do have a player that I need to beat them. Although I did Kamara this year for like the first time
Yeah.
ever. I've never had him on my team. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I have a pretty like stacked team. Like I'm like ranked eighth. And I was like, this isn't
I
even a little bit correct.
the year that I won, I was ranked 10th.
Yeah, I was ranked seventh. I'm usually ranked like between six and eight every year, and I average third place. Like
Yeah.
it just they don't know how football works when they do those rankings.
No.
But yeah, so I'm real football heavy. I'm very excited. I did have to change kickers for the first time, as we talked about. So I got the Lions kicker. Um, he was ranked number one this year, and I was like, yeah, that's probably true.
Ooh,
And
the
then
Lions kicker. Is that my kid? Dicker the kicker?
no, but I did. He's my backup
He's your
kicker.
backup. Okay.
Yeah,
He's not even the best kicker in the league, but
he's not, but
I
he's my
draft him. I
backup.
draft him every year because his name's Dicker the kicker.
Well, see, like I mean, usually I go with Justin Tucker, obviously, and he's
Obviously, yeah.
obviously not this year, even though
Yeah.
he's like back in business. I don't know who picked him up. I didn't even pay attention,
I don't
but
know.
somebody else signed him.
Did you see that? Oh, the Bills have played the strangest preseason games, and in our last preseason game, one of our tight ends punted. He started as a kicker and then he switched to tight end and then so he was doing they were just testing out different people who were like backups in different places in the field, like Ray Davis
I mean,
Ray Davis punted at one point, like, so we had our tight end punt 62 yards.
that's so loud. Well, that's like I think we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
How the Charger was it the Chargers kicker had a 70 yard.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah, I
preseason.
mean, I can't say anything about like testing people in different positions. We have Taysom Hill, so
Yeah.
like he's changed his like actual position every year. I think he's
Yeah.
technically tight end now, but he's been from like tight end to quarterback. I think he was something else another year. Like he's just
I
been all over
mean,
the place.
Tim Tebow changed sports every year, so
That's true. That's true. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm just in a real football mode, and I'm happy with my purple nails, and I'm also happy that I got Josh Allen. So,
yeah. Yeah.
how are you?
I'm good. I was gonna tell you a really exciting story, which I still will tell you, but then today was also terrible. So I'm gonna tell you guys all about how much the world sucks. But no, so on Friday morning, we had a surprise birthday party for Chrissy. Um, but
Aw.
but it was so Kate's husband owns a gym and the gym has 5 pickleball courts. So the surprise birthday party was we went to play pickleball, but then it was supposed to just be Chrissy and Kate, but then it turned out to be all of us and a cake. Um,
Aw.
but then we decided, like the 7 of us were there, all the teachers, we decided we're gonna do like a little de-stress after work league on every Friday. We're gonna go play pickleball.
Oh, that's so fun. I've never played. I think I'd love it.
It's so much fun. You don't in the moment feel like you're working out that much. I couldn't walk up the stairs the next day. My like my glutes were sore as shit. And
That's so funny.
I looked at Dan and I go, for once, you are not the biggest pain in my ass.
Poor
Um,
Dan.
but yeah, but I'm pretty good. I'm not actually. I'm pretty terrible. The problem is that I play tennis and I play badminton, so in my mind, I'm also good at pickleball. But
That's what I think. I've never played it, but that's what I
um,
think is true.
and on the one hand, it is because I have more concept of like serving. I can serve great because I know how to serve. It's the same as everything else. Um,
Amazing.
Wiffle balls don't bounce, except for then they do bounce. Like, like a tennis ball, you bounce it, it's going to keep bouncing, right?
Right.
A badminton, it can't touch the ground, so don't
Sure.
worry about that. But a wiffle ball, it bounces, but it doesn't have the same kind of springiness as a tennis ball, so every bounce loses like significant amount of height. Also, if it hits one of the holes of the wiffle ball the wrong way, it can change direction when it bounces. So,
Oh no.
so you'll like think you know exactly where the ball's gonna come, and then it's gonna hit the crack of the hole in the wiffle and literally spin the wrong direction, and you're like, what the just
Oh
happened?
no.
Um, so it's honestly, I'm really glad that I have the friends that I have because it's embarrassing. Like watching me play this game was had to have been embarrassing.
It's so funny.
Um, but so I was all excited and I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this every Friday because I don't know if you remember in Thailand I would go every Friday and play badminton with all my coworkers, and so we're doing a little paddle sport league
I love
again,
it.
and I'm really excited and maybe I'll actually like be in shape, kind of. I mean,
Oh, fun.
one day a week of pickleball is not
Of
gonna
pickleball.
so not gonna
That's
suddenly
still
get
like,
me in shape. But I don't know if you've seen the old people that play pickleball, they are fit as shit.
I mean, it's like the people that play, old people play tennis.
I know, it's crazy.
I want to
Um,
be an old person that plays tennis. I miss tennis.
I do. I have a badminton net in my backyard and I play pickleball at the gym, but tennis is the one that I don't really have any
Hmm.
time or location to play. Um, but then today was the worst day. And part of it was just because everyone else was like going fucking through it.
Yeah.
So we had for our first show of the season at Shay's with Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Now, I'm very mad about the new tour of Beauty and the Beast. Um,
Mhm.
they dumbed it down. They turned the show into a children's show. Like
Oh, I mean, I've never seen it, so.
they took out two of the less like poppy like numbers. Like so they took out mine and my dad's father-daughter dance song. And then they took out the song about the like crazy house. So they like they made it, and in the scene where it was supposed to be the Belle and Maurice's song, they have a weird, awkward conversation about her mom dying and him like missing her mom. And it's like really fucking just like, let's explain to the kids my mom's not here. Like instead of just like
Mm.
accepting that like he can raise a child by himself. Like I don't understand. And then they added like six extra dance breaks in Be Our Guest. So all of the time that they added to Be Our Guest, they could have just kept the songs that were already in the show. But that's fine. And they changed some of the costuming so other characters were wearing blue, which defeats the whole symbolism of Belle being the only one in blue. And I genuinely think whoever directed this production does not understand who Gaston is as a character. Um,
Okay.
because if you listen to the dialogue that Gaston says, Gaston's character, the thing that's scary about Gaston's character is that Gaston is the smartest person there. Like, with the exception of maybe Belle, Gaston
Oh,
is
yeah.
the smartest person there. His like manliness and his like aggression isn't because he's a dumb jock. It's because he has a fundamental belief that men are better than women. Like that is why he's a
Right.
villain. In his dialogue, he uses words like ignoramus and expectorating, and like he is not an idiot. So why did the choreographer have him holding up two fingers to say four? Like that just fundamentally is not the character.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like I was like just mad. about the
That's
production.
wild.
And then in
Yeah.
order, and as if we weren't all already mad about the production, the loadout for the production started at 9:30 last night and was supposed to go to 5 a.m. this morning. However, it actually went to 6:45, and the load in for the outsiders started at 8 a.m.
Interesting.
So all of my stagehands, all of my crew did not go to bed last night. They worked from
Oh
10
no.
30 before the first show yesterday until the end of loadout today.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so they are all exhausted. Like at one point, my head of props, Lucy, she's one of my best friends, she just comes over to me and she's like, "They gave me a radio. I don't want a radio. I don't want to know where I am." Like that's where we were at today. And plus, the people at work who are crazy, who I have already like threatened to like eventually just tell them to their face how everyone actually feels about them, um, went super wild with this last production. Like I genuinely like to the point where it is costing thousands of dollars for some of the things that they did. Um,
Amazing.
yeah. So that's really fun. But then like my the lighting had to like turn all the lights off and everything before we left. And like he was like, "Don't worry, I'll get the lights. They're in a meeting." I was supposed to get out of work at 6. I didn't end up getting out of work till 6:30, which was only frustrating because like I don't usually work day shifts. I wanted to be able to leave at 6 because I had to come home and do the podcast. But mostly I was frustrated because that meant Jeremy couldn't leave till 6:30, and Jeremy had been there for 40 hours.
That is so wild.
So like we were all just like literally we were like, this is a Twilight Zone. Like I don't feel like I've ever left this building. And even I was feeling like that, and I did go home to go to sleep last night. Like I worked last night and then I came in this morning, but like I had a break. They didn't have a break. So, but while I'm sitting there at work, like trying to get through this horrible day, I'm also trying to make adult phone calls. Like I had to pay a credit card bill, but I had accidentally locked myself out of that credit card because I forgot my password. So I had to call a credit card company and fix my online account. And then I had to call my doctor because they closed all the Rite Aids in the country. So I had to like get my
Did they
prescription.
close all the Rite Aids?
Oh yeah.
I missed that.
I don't know
Or
if
are
it's
they
in the
down
country.
here?
I don't know if it's in the country, but all of the Rite Aids, at least in New York State, every Rite Aid,
Interesting.
done, gone. Um,
Huh.
s- but so when they closed all the Rite Aids, they automatically moved everyone's prescriptions to CVS. But then my insurance was like, we don't accept CVS. So I had to call my doctor and be like, hey, I need you to move my prescription to this pharmacy. And they were like, that pharmacy's already on your record. I was like, yes, I know, because when I was at the hospital last week, I told them to send my prescriptions to that pharmacy. So they already changed it in my profile. But my prescription that I have from you is not there. So call them. And this lady made it seem like I was making her life miserable by asking her to do her fucking job and call my prescription in.
It's not
And-
your fault Rite Aid closed
right.
everything.
And I was like, it's fine. It's just my Zoloft. I don't need it.
Uh,
But then I called the pharmacy and was like, hey, do you have this prescription? And they were like, no. So I finally I figure out how to get into the online profile, request the refill myself, and then an hour later my doctor calls it in. So now I have the prescription at the pharmacy twice. I tried to call another doctor to make an appointment. They have refused to call me back for over a month now. So don't know about that. Gonna have to go somewhere else for that doctor apparently. And then I also needed to get blood work that I was supposed to get in January that I still haven't done. And based on the times available, I have to do it at 7:15 before I go to work Wednesday morning because it's the
hate
only
that.
fucking time that I need to go get blood work.
Yeah, I hate that.
And I just have been nauseous because my body just doesn't want me to eat food, apparently. So like I was like, I want to throw up, and I'm talking to people who make me want to throw up.
Right. Right.
But then, just to bring it back to the happy, when Dan made me dinner and he was leaving for rehearsal and he called me and he was like, dinner's on the stove. There's crickets in the living room for Pip. And he goes, and I There's a present for you in the
My
fridge.
brain says there were also crickets for you in the liver.
No, for the get-go. I don't eat crickets. Although Zara does.
I know.
Um, but and he said, and there's a present for you in the fridge. And I was like, what kind of present is in the fridge? Like usually when he says I bought you a present, it's in the freezer because he bought me ice cream. But
Sure.
what he bought was red Fanta.
Aww.
He's like, that's
I
what it
love
was, right? That's what you drank all the time in Thailand. Is that the right one? I was like, God, my blood sugar does not need this, but yes.
it.
Yes, so I have strawberry Fanta,
Nice.
and that will maybe make up for how terrible today was. But a
Can I
little,
also offer you
yes, I was gonna say, but a little piece of wisdom from you could also make it better. But my brain
prior to
couldn't
that though?
couldn't figure out how to make that a sentence. Oh, you have something before that?
I'd like to offer you an alternative to your Beauty and the Beast show that you didn't like. I'm halfway through a retelling and it's really good. Like
Oh,
it's keeping me up at night because I'm enjoying it.
oh,
It's A Curse So Dark and Lonely
that's on
by
my
Bridge
list.
by Bridget Kimmerer.
Yeah, it's
And
on my TBR.
it's like 400 something pages and I literally have been reading like over 100 pages a night. Like
I
I
finished
started at like 11 p.m. to read 400 pages a night.
I finished my AI book. I finished
Oh
one of
yeah, how was
I've
it?
it was amazing. I finished one of my Disney Villains books and I finished one of the Viking books.
Oh,
So I did good with books this week.
yeah.
And then because I hate myself, I started reading Anna Karenina.
Did you hate yourself? I mean, it's on my list of like one day I should probably read this, but
I read two chapters and then I asked Mo, I said, I read two chapters and I don't know what's going on. Am I correct? She was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, will I ever know what's going on? She said, no.
mm,
I said, oh,
mm,
good. Okay. Also, two
um,
chapters, two entire chapters, 1% of the way through the book.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll see. I might want to get to that.
Yeah.
I did read the very long books this week, and they were very cozy and funny. And I read the Full
Hmm.
Moon Coffee Shop, which is very cozy. It's like a translated Japanese book. It's
Nice.
like maybe 240 pages, like it's pretty short. Anyways, I just wanted to offer you that as an alternative to your Beauty and the Beast dilemma.
Beautiful.
Um, and otherwise, keep your face always towards the sunshine, and shadows will fall behind you. Walt Whitman.
I love all women.
Two, two.
Today, we're going to talk about Stargate Atlantis, Season 1, Episode 5, Suspicion.
Dun, dun, dun.
It was rated 7.7 stars.
Is that
Um,
higher than last week?
I don't know. I know it's higher than the last
Last
episode
week's
we
like
watched
Stargate,
because
yeah.
Stargate SG1, but is it higher than the last uh it's not rated 7.7. It's rated 7.1 and apparently I can't read numbers.
Suspicion?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which is interesting. I don't think
I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think that's right.
I just literally can't read. Um, it is 7.1, which is lower than last week, but maybe I just changed what I rated it because I thought it was better. Because that's wild.
That is wild. Because SG1 was 7.3, right?
Yeah,
No, I disagree. I
yeah.
disagree.
Um, However, it came out on Friday, August 6th, 2004, which is the same day as last week's SG1, so I have nothing new to share. If you really want to hear about the Da Vinci Code and Tom Cruise and Rick James, you can listen to last week's episode.
Love it.
In our little blurb for this episode, it says there's suspicion of a Wraith collaborator, and some of the team suspect the Athosians. Ford and Shepard find land on Atlantis's planet. Um,
Correct.
I forgot about the finding land part of the plot, and then I couldn't understand why halfway through the episode I thought the episode was over. Like this episode had very much like a beginning to end arc. But then just kidding, that wasn't the end because the actual problem hadn't been solved. And it like
Yeah.
that might be why it was rated the way it was. because
Yeah, that's very possible.
the actual story, fantastic. The structure of the story, a little off-putting.
Yeah, because I will say I like when I started it at the beginning, felt like I was a little less focused on the beginning, but then
Yeah.
like the second half, I was more focused. I was like, I feel like I'm still like a different
Yeah.
story now.
Literally when the team or when the Athosians leave to go to the other part of the planet, I paused it and I was like, "Oh my God, there's still 20 minutes left in this episode. What else happens?" And then I was like, "Oh, right. Got
Right,
it."
right, right.
But it was directed by Mario Azzopardi. The teleplay was by Joseph Malozzi and Paul Mully. But the story was by Carrie Glover. She is known for Leverage, Bad Samaritan, and The Hunted. She was born on a military base, grew up as a brat, has lots of experience living on military bases, and so she does tend to stick to sci-fi and action adventure for like genres that she works in because she has a lot of experience.
Well, I think Bad Samaritan and The Hunted, those are both horror, aren't they?
I think so.
And I
Uh,
thought Leverage was like action. You just
Leverage is one of my favorite shows of all time. It is action. It's a bunch of people who are known for doing heists working together to like pull off a bunch of. It's basically like Now You See Me Without Magic.
I love Now You See Me. I'll have to watch that. Bad
Um,
Samaritan's the one with the doctor. David Tennant. It's got David Tennant in it.
okay.
It's
Um,
hard.
okay. Yeah, so a lot of, but I also don't know. I know she was like the main. She has a lot of different titles because she does a lot of producing as well. Like she has a lot of different titles within, like whether she's writing or editing or producing, like she does a lot of different things. So I don't remember for each of those um what the her title was, but I do know that for Leverage she was a writing associate and a story editor. Like she worked in like the arcs of the
Dark.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um she was a competitive fencer and also
Love
did other
that.
martial arts. She has a degree in two degrees, one in linguistics and one in computer science. Um,
Hey.
and before she got involved in Hollywood, she was part of the early dot-com boom and like was a huge investor in like internet and then quickly realized that it was terrifying and she wanted nothing to do with it and she ran away as soon as possible and landed in writing, which is
Look, I have to say, as someone who ran away from New York and is hardcore getting ready to focus on my writing, um, I get it.
but I also am just like the internet's too scary, Hollywood. Like
Yeah.
that just feels like no.
That is a leap, but at least Hollywood is scary. You understand what's happening. Like you
Do you?
know that they're gonna abuse you, and you know what horrors you're getting into.
You
Whereas
know,
with the internet, you're like, I don't know what's gonna
especially
happen
the
next,
internet in 2001.
right? Like, yeah, no.
That's
Hollywood,
fair.
you knew what you were getting into. Like, it sucked and it wasn't right, and it's still like stupid, like hard. Like, it wasn't
Yeah,
a great place to be, but at least you knew what was happening. Like,
that's
and as a
fair.
writer, I guess it depends on where she like. I mean, she wrote like sci-fi and stuff, so like maybe it wasn't as bad as some of the other ones. I don't
That's
know. I
fair.
mean, yeah.
I also want to talk about the story editor who has apparently been working since episode 2 or 3, and I just completely forgot to read his name. Is so story editing is Martin Gero or Gero, I don't know, Gero. Um, He's known for Keep Breathing, Blind Spot, and the LA Complex. He was born in Geneva, Switzerland, but grew up in Canada. He works in both writing and producing. He has kind of worked on like a boatload of shows. His wife was is a like a bit actress. Like she has an IMDb, but I think there's like 3 credits, and she's like uncredited woman on most of them. And like so I don't um, but he went to school for like dramatic arts and then just dropped out in college anyway. And he does a lot of he like had a show that he wrote that won some awards for a Toronto Fringe Festival thing. He is like the supervising producer of a like new HBO show that I had not heard of. Like he does a
What
lot, but
show?
oh God,
What's his name? I can look it up while you.
it's Martin Gero, Gero. It is Bored to Death.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Okay, it's like a film noir comedy series, but I don't know anything about it. And he also is apparently going to direct the new Playboy movie.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah. And our editing is by Ron Yoshida. So, the
I
guest,
did not watch Bored to Death, but I am familiar with it. It's on my list.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
The guest star for this episode is not who you would think. The way that they were credited, I like wrote everything about this guy, and then like over halfway through the episode was like, wow, he hasn't been in the episode yet. Um, um,
Fine.
yeah, so it's also a little confusing because some people that are more highly credited, we did talk about prior. So like David Hewlett, obviously we talked about when Rodney was first on Stargate, and then Christopher Heyerdahl, who plays Holling, we also talked about in his episode of
Hmm.
Stargate SG-1. So,
Yeah.
um, and then so the next reasonable person would be Sergeant Bates. However, he's actually not as highly credited as Dr. Corrigan, the field doctor in that one scene that we saw in the middle of the episode when they went to the other planet. Don't know why. Don't really like it, but I had already done all my research and I didn't want to do it again.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
Dr. Corrigan is played by Ross Hull. He's known for Are You Afraid of the Dark in Stargate Atlantis. Stargate Atlantis, this episode was actually his last acting credit at all, because he then went to school for meteorology and now he
I was
is
I was gonna say, did he leave Hollywood and go to
the dot
what
com
is she?
boom. The
Yeah,
dot
the
com
dot
boom,
com.
yeah. No, he's actually a like the global news meteorologist for Toronto.
Good for
Like
him.
he's like a big deal in meteorology. So yeah, he's still on TV,
Love
just no
that.
longer acting. He's a weatherman. Um,
Oh, love that.
he's openly gay and very proud of that, and he has a partner. I ended up way too deep in their Instagrams trying to figure out if they were actually married or just partners, and then I realized that that was like creepy, the level of trying to figure out if they were ever married that I was at. But they have the most beautiful dogs, and mostly I was just like
Oh.
staring at their dogs. Um, so like, and then I was like, I don't know these men. This
Yeah,
is
yeah, 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 yeah.
I need to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
stop. Um, but yeah, he travels a lot and he tells the weather and he and his partner have pretty dogs and
Hmm.
that's all I got on him because he's not actually in Hollywood anymore.
Good for him.
Not that he really ever was.
Sure, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
so yeah, so our previously on shows when John brought the Athosians to Atlantis and it shows the Wraith Queen dying. So a bunch of stuff from the first episode. So it's like, hey, remember, this is the story we're telling. Which I did say my hint for this week was that we were gonna actually go back to a story that was introduced. Crazy. Um, the gate activates and it's Shepard, and he says they're coming in fast, even though they've only been gone a few hours. And as they come in, so does a lot of fire. And Rodney gets shot before they can get the shields raised. Right in the face.
Yeah.
Um, Rodney wakes up in the infirmary. He's numb and can't talk. And we find out he is paralyzed, but it's only temporary. And I like the way that they kind of info dump on us in this scene because it seems like they're just having a conversation, but it's like important information. And we find out that the Wraith weapons are designed only to incapacitate, not kill, which is why Rodney's okay. However, even without that info dump, it does kind of make sense that the Wraith wouldn't have weapons that would kill because they don't want their prey to be dead. Like they don't want to kill you, they want to capture you so they can suck your
Right.
soul out so they can't really kill like they need you alive.
Right.
Um Then Weir pulls John out of the infirmary to talk to him and find out what's going on. He fills her in on everything that happened with the mission. And we find out that out of the 9 missions that Atlantis 1 has gone on, which they've never called themselves Atlantis 1, but I call them Atlantis 1, because they are the primary
Yeah.
team for the Atlantis expedition. But out of the 9 missions that Atlantis 1 has gone on, they have unexpectedly encountered the Wraith 5 times. Um, and Weir is very confident that that means that there is a spy on Atlantis. And then we get the credits.
Suspicion.
Suspicion. And interestingly, this is not the first time this is brought up. When they first encounter the Athosians in the very first episode, they're questioning whether the Athosians like told them that the Wraith were going to be there because it seemed pretty out of nowhere that the Wraith
Yeah.
figured it out. Um, so this is just going back to that original suspicion, but um Weir is holding a briefing and Rodney is massaging his feet at a table like a Neanderthal. That is completely not important to the plot, but it was gross. Um,
Mm.
and then, when you know characters' names, but you never call them by their names, and then you somehow just do for some reason.
Yeah.
I wrote John, Rodney, and Aiden. I've never called Lieutenant Ford by his first name in my life.
I didn't even know his first name. So
Yeah, it's Lieutenant Aiden. I don't know why I wrote that. They're there, and John is like, "Well, we should have to wait for Taylor." And Weir's like, "Actually, she wasn't invited to this meeting." Um, because the signs all point to the Athosians being where the leak is coming from. And John is incredulous, and he's like, "This is insane." He's like, "There's no way Taylor has anything to do with it." Um, But Weir brings up the fact that of the 5 Wraith attacks, 2 of them were actually on unpopulated planets, which seems to indicate that the Wraith are being alerted to the missions. Ronnie and John are like, well, if that's true, why haven't they come for Atlantis yet?
that is valid.
Yeah. Um, Sergeant Bates, who I didn't know his name for the first half of the episode, and so I just wrote the angry military guy. Um, he says they should just discontinue the use of the gate altogether. And Rodney and John list all the reasons why that is actually a terrible idea, and they do not have the ability to survive if they just shut everything off. Um, and he says that they need to at least start by confining non-base personnel to a different part of the city. And he's like, well, that's what Colonel Sumner would do. And John's like, cool, Colonel Sumner's not here. I am. That's some bullshit. And Weir says we're not going to start treating people like prisoners, but we do need to make some of the main operation rooms have some security clearance, which, to be fair, is valid. The fact that everybody just like wanders in and out of wherever they want in
Right.
this city and there's like huge military operations, like not even everyone who is there should be able to just wander into the gate room.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah,
she
yeah.
says they need to pause gate operations while they get to know the Athosians a little better.
It does feel like a little too late. But also
Well, she says
it's
they've been
okay
here.
to like monitor it, and, like narrow it down to like Taylor or like
Yeah,
our top teams. Like
but she's like they've been here 3 months and I don't even know who any of them are. Like that feels like a you problem.
that's exactly what I was about to say because rude. How do you live on a base with someone for 3 months and not know? Like
And
I
also
met a
like
girl at my test on Wednesday and I know her whole life story because we were delayed for 2 hours. Like
well, but also that's because millennials have an unreasonable amount of trauma bonding as a way
she
to
was
make
Gen Z,
friends. Ew. Don't.
I know.
Um,
I'm just saying.
I'm trying to remember what Ashley posted on Facebook the other day. That was so funny. I was like, is this why we're friends? It what did it say? It said I kind of like people who trauma dump. Like I don't care if I met you 30 minutes ago, tell me why your mom lost custody.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Um,
That's me.
but no, and I do understand what she's saying. She's like, I don't want everybody to be prisoners. I just think we haven't been treating this like an actual military base, and we need to do that. And also, like, if I'm going to be in charge of everyone here, I should probably know their names.
Yeah.
Um, I do. think that that's a very non-military way to look at it because I guarantee you General Hammond could not tell you the life story of like every single person. Like he probably knows a lot of them. He probably cares about a lot of them, but like he doesn't have personal conversations with like the night shift cook.
But also, like, they go home at night.
That's
Like,
true. That's true.
this
That's
is
true.
different.
Yeah. Taylor goes to talk to Dr. Weir, and some of the soldiers tell her that that area is off limits, and she's like, "What? Since when? What's going on?" So John fills her in on the situation, and she gets very upset. She says, "There's not a single one of my people who'd help the Wraith after everything we've been through. Like that's just insane." And he's like, "I just want to stop getting shot at."
I do want to say, like, truly, if you look at who is more likely to help the raid, it's not the Athosians. Like,
It's
they've
not
been
the authority.
tormented by them by so many years. Like,
Right.
Atlantis just found out about them. There could easily be, like, a renegade in our, like,
Which would be true,
team, you
except for
know?
that the Atlanteans, like the Earth-based Atlanteans, would have no way of contacting the Wraith. Like they would have no
Right. Like,
prior
I don't,
experience. Like
no, I don't
motivation,
think they do, but I'm just saying,
right.
like, if you had to pick one of those groups, it's not the
Oh, one
Athosians.
has the motivation, one has the means.
Right.
And the crossover is non-existent.
Hmm.
Um, but John tries very hard to like be the good middle manager at this point. Like he has to support Weir because she's his boss, but he has to
Right.
support Taylor because she's on his team. And he also agrees that it doesn't make sense that every single one of their missions gets thwarted. He was like, I
Yeah.
just want to get stop getting shot at. Weir just wants to meet everyone. Like, can we please just cooperate? And she agrees, but she's clearly not being warm and fuzzy about it. Like, she's like,
Which is
I'll,
fair.
yeah,
I would cooperate and not be fuzzy.
yeah. Weir starts to interview all the Athosians, but and she starts with, or we don't know who she starts with, but we see her interviewing Holling, and he is
Not
pissed.
warm and fuzzy. I can
No,
tell you that.
no, he's like, you don't trust us, and we're not happy. Like, and then Sergeant Bates basically like accuses Holling. He's like, you've left the planet 3 times, and every time you've left, you've disappeared. And he's like, sorry, I have fucking friends.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, but Holling says, you assume it's one of us, but you don't have a single clue what the Wraith have done to us and our people. Like, what we've all lived through. We've
Hmm.
all lost friends. We've all lost family. Like, we didn't come to this planet to get treated like shit.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Then we switch to the fucking Waldorf and Statler of the show. Zelenka is complaining about food. And we find out that Rodney is a straight psychopath because his favorite foods are military rations and hospital food.
Straight psychopath.
And he says the only reason I don't like airplane food is because you can't get seconds.
Right.
Rodney's a serial killer.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Um, but he's actually not the problem this time because he discovers a new function inside the puddle jumper, and because he's a scientist with a brain, he says, "I don't know what those symbols mean. I'm gonna go cross-reference them and do some research." And Zuleika goes, "Ooh, shiny button."
Yeah.
And the entire roof opens. Which, like, thank God they're not underwater anymore.
Right. I know. That's what I was thinking of. I was like, this could have been a lot worse. This isn't great. This could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. Um, Then we go to the secret council meeting of the Athosians, and they're having a discussion about how they're supposed to take the treatment they're facing. But they left Taylor out of this conversation. And she's a little upset about that. She defends Weir's decision, and she says, if the Athosians are innocent, we'll all benefit from knowing who's helping the Wraith. Like, we will all be better if we have an answer. And if you are innocent, you have nothing to worry about. And Holling is like, we're not prisoners. We can leave. We don't have to stay here and take this. And she's like, well, where would you go? And he goes, don't you mean we? And Taylor has clearly drawn an alliance line in the sand. Um, Shepard and Ford decide to take a joy cruise in one of the puddle jumpers now that the doors are open. Which, to be fair, they have not had access to any other part of the planet that they're on except for the city. So just
Yeah,
surveying the planet, not an unintelligent idea, but also they're like boys with Hot Wheels.
100% that's what they are.
Um, Taylor goes to see Weir and she's surprised that she isn't on the list to be interviewed. And she's like, I think I should have been first on the list. Like, they're my people, I'm their leader. If you want to talk to them, like, you should explain your feelings to me. And they have a conversation about their responsibilities as leaders. And Taylor is basically like, I don't disagree with you. I'm just hurt that you didn't respect my ability to
Right.
talk to my people.
Like there's a way to do things and you don't start with the people, you start with the top. Like
Yeah.
you speak person to person to the top and then you go from there.
Yeah. And Taylor's like, just so you know, they want to leave. They're gonna like leave the city. And Weir's like, well, shit, that's not really what I. Okay. So while Ford and Shepard are out in orbit of the planet, they find land outside the city, and it's like a lot of land. Um, they said it was 15 million square miles, which my favorite was Rodney saying that's as big as I don't know something, but it's really big.
Yeah.
Um, how big is 15
How many
mil,
Danny DeVitos
mil 15 million square miles is bigger. It's like two and a half Americas, including
That's a lot.
Alaska. That's like, yeah. Um, So they're like, we need to test it for livability. We need to see if it can like grow land, like grow crops and everything, because also they're running out of military rations and they have no way to contact Earth and they're trapped in a city and they don't have food. Um, so they want to test it for livability, like air quality, ability to like grow crops, like they need to do all this testing. And Sergeant Assface is immediately like, let's send all the Athosians there. And John's like, we just said we don't know if you can live there yet. Like, we have no idea if it's habitable. And he's like, I thought you wanted to go surfing. He's like, yeah, after science. But also on the list of people jumping to rash decisions is Holling, who has heard about the land and tells Weir that he's going to take the Athosians and they're going to go explore the land.
Yeah. It
And she's,
almost felt like he was like, I'm gonna like start a coup. And it's like, you there's no need for that. You're just mad today. But like it feels like he's like, we're gonna separate right now.
but he also kind of, I actually, his explanation to Weir is like, you don't feel comfortable with us here.
Right.
We don't feel comfortable with the way you're treating us.
Hmm.
So staying here is not an option. However, because you don't trust us, and because we don't know what's going on out there with the Wraith, leaving here is also not an option. But if we go to the mainland, if we stay there, we can do the science for you. We can physically explore the land. We can take samples. We can figure out, we can grow crops. We can build houses. We can test the water. And we can separate ourselves enough from the gate that you can see that we didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but Taylor has chosen to stay with the Stargate team and tells Holling that even though it's going to be weird, there is going to be a way for them to communicate. It's not like they'll be cut off from each other forever. Um, Taylor and Weir have a little bonding moment about what it feels like to be separated from their people and not know if they're ever going to see them again, but still have to make decisions to do what's best for their future.
Right.
Um, Atlantis goes out on their first mission after the separation. Dr. Corrigan says that they could have to be there for quite some time because there's a lot of fascinating things on this planet. And John asks if he actually means fascinating or if he means archaeology fascinating. Um, and he's like, well, how do I help you speed this up so we don't have to be here forever? And he's like, find somebody who can read runes.
Yeah.
Like I can only do so much.
I
But
could
there,
call Dr. Daniel Jackson.
yeah. Unfortunately, long range communication to Earth not quite an option right now. Um,
I know they need one of those FaceTime
yeah.
calls like we have
Like the
before.
gold. I don't know if those work in on separate galaxies.
Sure they do. Why not?
I don't know. Depends on the technology that they're used, but also I don't think the gold can get to this galaxy. They don't because they don't
I have,
understand.
I have
They
more
don't.
questions that I started with.
The goal, one of the reasons the Atlanteans went to this galaxy in the first place, to the Pegasus galaxy in the first place, is because they knew that the Goa'uld hadn't figured out that dimension of the gates.
But like theoretically they could still travel by gate to
Well, they
get there.
could, but they don't know how, they
They
don't
just don't know
know.
how. Oh, okay,
They
okay.
just don't know that there's an extra level to the gates, and also
Right.
the DHD devices that we have in the Milky Way galaxy do not have enough power to open a wormhole stable enough to get to the Milky Way galaxy. That's why they need a ZPM to do that.
Gotcha. So it's not a it's not an ability thing. It's more of a
It's
like a knowledge thing. Like they don't
it's
have all the means and
they
skills.
yeah, they don't have the means and skills or really
Okay.
the or honestly, I don't know that they even know that there's a question. Like they
Right.
don't have the answer because they don't know that it's a question.
Yeah. That
But
makes
it's not that
sense.
they could never. It's that they don't have any of the necessary implementation or information.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. But so there are natives on this planet, and Tayla's gonna go try and convince them to help with the translation. But she's like, let me go by myself. They're really shy. But while John is trying really hard not to let what Sergeant Asshole has said to him into his head, he is trying to make sure he's doing the right thing by like his people. So he doesn't let Taylor go by herself and he sends Ford with her as backup, which is both correct in terms of suspicion and also correct in terms of your team. You don't let one person go off by themselves.
Right.
We've
The
seen how
buddy
well,
system.
yeah, we've seen how well that works out every time we've ever had a team go anywhere.
Hmm
Um,
hmm
like Daniel Jackson being kidnapped every week.
Every day. Yeah.
Um, Taylor tells Ford that they're not going to come out as long as he's with her, so he decides to stay behind a little bit at one of the tree lines and let her keep going forward on her own. Um, but then something moves behind the trees and John sees the wraith. A firefight starts, and Ford has to go find Taylor and circle back to the gate. However, John gets shot, the team brings him back, but Ford and Taylor are still on the planet, which Rodney is immediately like, open it back up, we're going out. And they're like, you don't even know what's out there. He goes, don't care. My team's out there. Because
Very Jack. Very
very
Jacky.
Jack. So while trying to piece together what happened, Sergeant Bates has decided that Taylor must be at fault because she was the only Athosian who knew about the mission. He was like, she's the only one who could. And Rodney's like, Ford is out stuck in the woods too. Is it him? Like, what? Why are we saying that the Athosians are the only ones possible of treachery? Like, that's just ridiculous. But then the gate activates and it's Taylor's IDC. Ford is unconscious. Taylor's trying to get him back in, and the Wraith are closing in. And she's like, "Let me in." And Bates says we have to leave the shields up. He thinks that she's deliberately trying to bring the Wraith onto the planet. And everybody's just like, "Dude." Weir lowers the shields anyway. Taylor and Ford come through. When they get there, they're surrounded by people on our side, like with their weapons up. Um, And Bates continues to say that Taylor's responsible for the wraith, and John freaks out and dismisses him and was like, fuck you. Like, I'm not gonna have you talk about my team that way. However, John doesn't really have the power to like fire him, just dismiss him from the room.
Right.
So Bates takes all of Taylor's personal effects to Rodney and says, search it for any type of recording device, anything with a transmitter, any technology, anything we don't know. Um, so Shepard is talking to Ford in the infirmary to find out what happened while they were over there. And he's like, dude, Taylor saved my life. Like, I fell, I got knocked out. And Rodney's really excited because he thinks that that means all three of them got stunned by the Wraith guns. And he's like, no, I just tripped. He was like, I was trying to get away from the Wraith gun and fell and hit my head on a rock. And Bonnie's like, oh, okay, John, can you come with me? Um, Turns out Tayla's necklace is a transmitter that has, in fact, been alerting the Wraith to their position. So it is Tayla. However, Tayla had no idea that this was happening.
Right.
And we discover that as a necklace, as a gift from her father, like as a child, this necklace was not a transmitter because Tayla's just another human being. However, John picked it up, and John has the ancient gene, which meant he activated it. So while Tayla is carrying the transmitter, technically, John is the one who activated the
Set it
signal.
off, yeah.
And that makes sense as to why in the first episode, when John picked up the necklace and gave it to Tayla, the Wraith immediately showed up on the planet that they had no
Okay.
idea was there before. So John decides that they want to use the locket against the Wraith. Um, they create a game plan for how to capture a Wraith alive. Um, they, wow, they go to the planet, they set up their booby trap, and four Wraith come out of the tree lines. However, I wrote fourth Wraith come for them. And I was like, the fuck?
Fourth grade.
What? Um, so they ambush the Wraith and they're trying to capture these guys. But Tayla, because she knows more about the Wraith, realizes that the one sneaking off is the one that they need to capture. The other guys are just
Right.
soldiers. So she goes off alone after the one who's clearly in charge. And the one that the team had tried to get, like the soldier that they tried to get, self-destructs. So we learned that the little symbol on their outfits is kill themselves bomb. Um, John helps Tayla. They capture the Wraith. Stop him before he can self-destruct. Weir apologizes to Tayla and her people, and Tayla tells her that were she the one in Weir's position, she would have done the same thing. And they have the Wraith in the city in a cage built by the ancients, and John is taunting him, and he threatens to
So
end them
hard.
so hard. He threatens to end them all when he gets out. And that is the end of the episode. Yeah. So what are you thinking?
I mean, John probably shouldn't talk to him. That feels like you're playing with fire, but fine. Um, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've captured Gollum in the past. So this feels like a similar
Yeah.
situation where we're like, we're gonna figure out what's going on with you because we have this one being. But like, are the Wraith aren't like hive minds or anything though, or are they like? Do we know that yet? Do I know anything about that?
We don't know that. We know that they are hive structured, like bees are hive structured, like there's a queen and
Right,
they serve her and there's a hierarchy, but we don't know anything about how they communicate information. No.
right. So like, we don't know if that's how it is. I feel like it would be not a great writing choice to go that way because that is basically what our first big bad was about. Like
Right.
with the goals, I feel like it should be something else. But I feel like it's obvious that he's gonna have a way to communicate, or that he's gonna have like maybe he has his own transmitter, like in his being. Um, it's gonna cause some issues if they have this wraith. Um, Also, this is unrelated to this episode specifically, but while I was watching it, I was starting to think about Dr. Weir, and I think I like her already because she kind of feels like a crossover between Sam and Janet.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love her so much. Because she's got the like, I mean, they're both military, but she's, I don't know, there's just something about her. She's got a
Yeah.
little more chutzpah like Janet did,
We were
than
watching it the
Sam
other day,
does.
and so Dan, because just of the way things happened, he had started watching Atlantis first because
Mhm.
Doug and David were watching it. And
Right,
then he only really started watching SG1 because I was watching it.
right.
Um so he had seen Weir, but he was also never like super totally into the show. I think he only got to see like halfway through season two, maybe into season three. I don't remember where he got before I made him start over. Um, but he didn't know the controversy of the Weir recast until we watched the SG-1 episodes. And the number of times that he just goes, yeah, the blonde lady could not have done this.
No, not at
No.
all. Not at all.
And we're only, what, 5 episodes in, and he's already like, no, no way. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
um, yeah, so do you have any thoughts about what's coming next?
Um, I don't know. The part of me that's used to SG-1's like we're getting a throw off episode that doesn't matter at
Oh,
all
we sure
next.
are. We sure are. Don't you
So
worry.
there's that. But as far as storyline goes, I don't know. I don't. I mean, I
I
assume that Thosians are going to be more like Braytak is with like
Yeah.
Taylor is going to be like our Braytak basically, and so like I don't think we're going to have like a
Well,
lot of.
Taylor's more like our Teal'c, whereas Holling is like our Braytac. Like they're involved, but Taylor's
Mm,
not leaving.
I
I
guess
know
that's true because the
like
rest of them are leaving. Yeah.
she's obviously more wise and like in charge than Teal'c was, but
Hmm.
she's our connection to these other people that we will have
Yeah.
interactions with. I mean, obviously with the Athosians not being in the city, they will change their role, but it is still important that that's where we're getting our food and our land and everything, and so they're
Right.
not completely written out. But I think this kind of like sets us up. I think up until this point, we were still like, even though it's been 5 episodes, it's still been setting the scene. We
Right.
there's now been a line in the sand. Taylor's officially separated from the Athosians and on our team 100%.
Hmm.
Um, we know a little bit more about ancient technology. We have a wraith in captivity. We know that there are other worlds out there. We know that this planet is a full planet. Like now is the time to start kind of the Stargate formula.
Yeah. So I feel like because of that, I don't really know what happens next because I feel like we've been setting up this whole time.
Right. Yeah. So no, next week is gonna be, like I said, this never gets so completely like throwaway as some of the older seasons of SG-1 did, but the next
Mhm.
week's episode um is less related to what we've been doing. It is more of a throwaway episode.
Okay.
Um the next episode that we're watching for the podcast is not the next episode of Atlantis, of course. It is the next episode of SG-1. It is called Avatar. Um, and we did talk a little bit about it last week when I said that the don't read the description.
Oh, right.
Don't read the
Yeah, yeah.
description because it says that someone's dead right in the
Mhm.
description. Um,
You did say that, and my brain said that you said that for this episode. And so I
mm,
was really trying to figure out who was going to die, and then I was like, I don't know what's
no,
happening.
I know my teaser for this episode was
Yeah,
just that we're gonna get an answer to a question that we've had since
right.
the first episode, which we did. No,
Right,
so
right.
the next episode we're watching is Stargate SG-1, season 8, episode 6. It's called Avatar, and someone dies.
Mhm, mhm.
Maybe, sort of.
I mean, who really dies?
Who really dies?
Other than
Um,
Janet.
but I mean, also the episode is called Avatar. So if that doesn't tell you something about like, and this is
Yeah,
prior to the Aang or
the
the Boot
James
people.
Cameron movie.
It's prior to the James Cameron James Cameron movie, prior to the Last Airbender. This is the original definition of the word Avatar. So, is anything real? We'll see.
No.
No. I mean, honestly, is anything real anyway?
No, no.
Speaking of things that you don't really get to do, who do you want to punch?
I kind of want to punch Holly. Like, I get that he's not like wrong, but
Right.
he was real fussy, and I just was
He,
like, maybe
yeah.
take a chill pill for a minute. And
He was my backup. I didn't think you were gonna pick him, but he was my backup, and I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like he's not wrong, but he's a little fussy for no reason.
yeah,
Uh, but mine was obviously Sergeant Bates because what a dick.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Who's your MVP?
I think I'm gonna go with Taylor.
Okay. Taylor would have
Yeah,
been my first choice as well, but for my backup, I did go with Shepard
sure.
because he stood by his team and questioned authority on every level just to make sure that everyone knew that he that's not how this was gonna go.
Right, right,
Yeah. So well, we're getting there. We're doing it. I am excited for next week's episode. I'm interested. I don't remember how it goes. So like I vaguely remember and the big like weird thing that's in the description I remember, but like I don't remember how it gets resolved or like what actually
right.
happens.
Okay.
Um, so it'll be very interesting. Um, yeah, so if you have any thoughts or theories or questions or concerns or just want to hang out, be our friends, trauma dump and tell us why your mom lost custody, you can follow us on all of the social media at deathandaliens@gmail.com. No, you can email
You can
us.
email us.
That's the one. But the social media is just Death and Aliens. Um, you can follow me everywhere at EMKAY_superstar.
And you can find me at CE Cloud 13.
And we will see you on Sunday for
Nope, we'll see you on
on
Thursday.
Thursday. I don't know what day of the week it is. We'll see you on Thursday for an episode of
American Horror
of
Story.
American Horror Story that is something else.
It sure is. It sure is.
Bye.
Bye.